What's up, foodies? Thank you so much for all the love you guys give me. I really appreciate that. We had over 2.2k view for the last video, so thank you so much. I'm very grateful for all of you guys who like, subscribe, and share. So thank you so much. I'm very thankful for that. For today's recipe, what we're doing is we're actually going to be making some pasta. It is a request from my sister. That's what she wanted for dinner tonight, so that's what I'm making tonight. Without wasting any more of your time, let's get to making some pasta with the Indian twist to it. Alright guys, so the first thing we need to do to make pasta is we need to boil the pasta, right? So what I'm using here is I'm using the three color pasta. With that, the easiest way to boil it and the way I like to boil my pasta is I let my water get boiling first, and once the water starts boiling, I actually go ahead and add some salt to it. I'm not gonna add too much salt to it, and I'll tell you the reason why I'm not adding too much salt. So just a little bit of salt. With the salt, to keep the texture of the pasta and make sure that it doesn't get very sticky, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some oil to it. So just a tiny bit of oil. I've used about, let's say, 1 tablespoon of oil. And once the water starts boiling, which mine is almost there, I'm gonna add the pasta to it. Now while we're boiling the pasta, it takes about 10 minutes for the pasta to be boiled. I'm gonna get the butter ready for our garlic bread. So yes, the bonus is I'm going to make you guys some garlic bread as well. I don't use the pre-made one. You can definitely use the pre-made one if you want to. I am actually making garlic bread fresh. Now while I'm waiting for the water to boil, I'm just gonna put my butter ball on top of it for just about 30 seconds or so. The whole point for that is we don't want to melt the butter, but all we're gonna do is we're gonna get the butter loose enough where we can add some garlic to it, some herbs to it. So this is how we want our butter to be. We don't want it to be too liquid, and we don't want it to be too hardened. So this is the consistency you want. You want it to be like semi-liquid like that, so that way we can add our garlic to it, and also we can use it for our spread for the garlic bread. Now at the same time, my water is boiling as well. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and add my pasta to it, and we're gonna let it cook for about 10 minutes on medium heat. In about 10 minutes it should get ready for us. At the same time, in the butter, all I'm doing is I'm gonna go ahead and add my garlic to it. Now for the I'm using a lot of garlic. I'm using freshly grinded garlic. You can use garlic paste if you want to. You can use garlic powder if you want to. Not an issue at all. Whatever you like to use with it, you can use that. Now with that, I'm gonna add just a little bit of Italian seasoning with it, and just a tiny bit of crushed pepper. And our spread is ready. Now what I'm going to do while I'm waiting for my pasta to be ready, I'm going to make the garlic bread. As I said, I'm making fresh garlic bread. I bought some French baguette and some sourdough baguette. Sourdough bread, French bread, if you don't know what baguette is. You can pick it up. I mean, you can bake it if you want to, or you can pick it up from your local bakery. It's cheaper to pick it up from a local bakery, less work for you, and bread is bread whether you bake it or you pick it up from a bakery. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it up, and then I'll show you how to make the garlic bread. Alright guys, so I did cut my bread. There are two different ways I cut the bread. I cut it sideways, so long bread, long pieces like that. Some people like it long like that. Some people like them nice and neat, nice small pieces. So whatever works for you, you make the bread like that. For me, I like them nice and small like that, more crunchy side to it. So that's how I cut it. At the same time, the pasta is ready as well. So what you want to do, you want to wait until about 10 minutes, and in about 10 minutes you will know. So when you take, like, let's say a knife or something and just slightly touch the pasta like that and it just cuts in half, that's when you know that the pasta is ready. You don't want to overcook it, otherwise when you cook it with the sauce, it's gonna get completely broken. um, Now the reason why I say that we're not gonna add too much salt to the water, it's because what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of this sauce, so some of the broth, we're gonna take that and we're gonna put that on side. And what we're gonna use this for is we're actually gonna be using this for our recipe as well. So I'm taking about good about three half a cup of sauce, 3 to 4 half a cup of sauce, or the broth that I'm going to take from that, and just keep it on the side. It's going to help us with the water that we need to use to make our sauce as well. Now with this water, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and rinse the pasta out, and then I'm going to use the same pan to go ahead and make the food as well. Alright guys, so I took my pasta out, rinsed it with cold water as well. Now I'm using the same pan. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get our marinara ready, which is the red sauce. I already boiled the tomatoes and I already made a gravy or the puree out of it. And then I'm gonna be using that puree. But before we warm that puree up, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do about 2 spoons of oil. And what we're doing in the oil, this is where we're gonna add our tadka to it. Once the oil gets a little bit warm, we're gonna go ahead and add some garlic, grill up some onions and bell pepper and some spices with it, and then we'll make the sauce. Alright, so our oil is warm now. I've finely chopped about 4 pieces of garlic, 4 to 5 pieces, like big pieces of garlic. I like to have a lot of garlic in my pasta. I don't know, you can lower the quantity if you don't like too much of a garlicky taste, but for me, I love to have the garlicky taste, so I add a little bit more garlic into it. Now at the same time, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add some onions to it. I've used 1 big onion. You can use 2 medium size or 3 small onions. We're just gonna go ahead and grill the onion very quick. We're not gonna let the onions get brown. We're just gonna let it crackle a little bit. Just let the taste of the onions and garlic come out, and then we're gonna start adding our sauce with the onion and bell pepper. Now I only cook the onions for about 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Now I'm also adding the bell pepper to it as well. I'll cook the bell pepper, onions and garlic for another, I would say about like 30-40 seconds or so, and then I'll start adding the marinara sauce to it, or the puree that I have, which is also called marinara as well. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna do is the broth that we had from pasta, we're gonna go ahead and add some broth to it. Not adding too much of the broth, just half of what we took out initially. I'm gonna go ahead and use that. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and add my tomato puree to it. So as you can see, you can still see the chunk of tomatoes in my puree. I didn't completely finely grind them. So that's how you want your puree to be. And when I was making that puree, I added some Italian seasoning to it, just a tiny bit of salt. If you want, you can use some red chili, Kashmiri chili. Give it a little bit of more red taste to or red color to it. But for me, that's what I haven't added Kashmiri chili just some crushed pepper, some seasoning, and that's about it. Alright guys, so I've added my marinara sauce into the pan. Now what we're gonna do, as I said, I promised you that we're gonna have an Indian twist to it. So far what we have done, that's all normal. That's how we make a pasta traditionally the Italian way. Now for the spicy side of it, I'm gonna add a little bit of salt just to compensate for onions, garlic, and just a little bit of salt for pasta. And the sauce, I didn't use too much salt in there. I'm gonna add some more seasoning to it, just a tiny bit of it. Some more crushed red pepper. Now what I'm going to do is I'm adding a pinch of garam masala to this. Now I make my own garam masala, but you can have the garam masala, just any garam masala off the shelf. You'll be just fine. So just a little bit of garam masala, and with that we're gonna add 1 spoon of Kashmiri chili powder. Now this is gonna bring out a different flavor, the garam masala flavor. It's just gonna be a different flavor. I promise you that you're gonna love this flavor. I'm gonna give it a good mix and then add my pasta to it, and then we're gonna let it warm for about 15 minutes. Actually not even 15 minutes. I would say about more like 5 minutes or so, and it should be good to go. Now when you're boiling, or when you're letting it warm, the sauce is gonna start getting a little bit thicker to it. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna add remaining of the broth. So we're gonna, at this point, we're gonna keep it a little bit liquidy, so that way when we're done cooking it, it doesn't get too thick. And the reason for adding the oil, as you can see, my pasta are not sticky. You don't want your pasta to be sticky. That's how you want your pasta to be. That's why you add the oil to it. But all we're gonna do is just add the pasta and let it cook for 15 minutes and you're all done. I'm sorry, not 15 minutes, about 5 minutes and you're all done. Alright guys, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this cook for about 5 minutes, just enough for pasta to soak up the sauce. And meanwhile, while I'm letting it cook for 5 minutes, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go ahead and make my garlic bread. We're gonna get our garlic bread ready. To get the garlic bread ready, all we're doing is we're gonna use a grill pan and the bread that we have pre-cut. Now be generous with your butter. You want enough butter on both sides, so I'm gonna add a good chunk of butter on one side. I'm gonna put it on the grill, and while it's on the grill, I'm gonna add the butter on the second side of it. Now this was the reason we wanted the butter to spread enough, so that's why we didn't go ahead and add, we didn't liquefy the butter too much. If we let it get liquid too much, then the butter would have melted. Now we're gonna let it cook. This is gonna be very quick, so we're just gonna let it cook for about 1.5 to 2 minutes, and your garlic bread are gonna be ready. Okay. You can also do this in oven as well. All you need to do is just put enough butter on both sides of the bread. Put it in. Just go ahead and put it into aluminum foil. You don't have to use a tray for it. And once you put it in the aluminum foil, all you do is just cook it on about 300-degree Fahrenheit. Pre-cook it. Preheat the oven 350-degree Fahrenheit, and all you're gonna do is let it cook for 15 minutes. So you can get your garlic bread ready, or you can cook it while your pasta is getting ready, and you're gonna be all done by the time your garlic bread is gonna be done by the time your pasta is ready as well. and then just about a minute or two, all you do is just you go ahead and flip your bread around. You don't want to burn your bread, so you just want it to toast a little bit but not burn it. Alright guys, so our garlic breads are ready as well. Pasta is ready as well. I'm gonna go ahead and plate it up, start eating. As you know, I'm not waiting on you. The food is ready. Thank you so much for all the like, all the subscribe. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you again. Food is ready, not waiting. Goodbye. Keep sharing.